Okay, we have started our discussion about the high availability. Now high availability defined with the value of where the value of availability is high. So we have defined the availability is like its uptime upon uptime plus downtime. So we can say that availability is directly proportional to uptime and inversely proportional to downtime. So if we want to have a HA solution, that means we require a low downtime systems or high uptime systems. That means both statements are itself complete. So we can say that for high availability clusters, we need a system with low downtime. So for HA solutions, we need a low downtime. That means the system should be up and functioning for higher amount duration of time, then it will be a high availability solution. So we will understand high availability, then its importance, then how it can be achieved, what are the components, then types of solutions, then the selection criteria of high availability solutions. Then we are also discussing the virtual machines for high availability clusters. So we can see that we have already see the importance of availability for an organization. The more the system will be available, the more will be the productivity, as well as the more will be the reputation of that organization. So importance is already defined. Then we will be defining how what high availability is. Then what are different technologies related to high availability. So now for calculation of high availability, we take the service around the clock. Now, when you talk about the service around the clock, we are talking about the 365 into 7. This is they have written wrong because in a year there are 365 days only. So it should be like 365 days into 24 hours in a day into 60 minutes or 60 seconds. So this is something we want to calculate. That means availability is defined in annually terms, and this annual term will be defined like for every second of the year. So there are five nines defined for the high availability, and based on the formula we have calculated that these are the high availability values. So first is 99.9. So these are pre-calculated values because we have the availability formula. So by setting different values, that means by setting this value as 99.9, we have calculated the downtime because we know the total time is for a year only. So based on that, we have calculated downtime. So these definitions will provide different values of the downtime. Like 99.99 for that value, we are having 8.76 hours. Then 99.95 is 4.38. Then 99.99 is 52.6 minutes. So these are different classes of 9, and out of these classes we are qualified as 99.999 or above will be a high availability cluster. That means we have picked this thing 99.999 or above. That means this is defined for the HA. So that means we are thinking of a downtime lower than 5.26 minutes in a year. So we have to develop for this kind of solutions for HA. So 5.26 minutes or less value is the downtime in a year for a HS solution. So that means this value is very less value. So our solution should be like more fault tolerance, then redundancy should be there, then error checksum will be there, then the power supply need to be consistent. So all these things will be considered for this high availability. So these are the definitions that we will be using in defining a high availability solutions. So a system will be a composition of the components, and these are also known as nodes. So like CPU, disk memory, all these things will be a part of system, and the combination of it will be a system, will be defined as a system. So then second definition is uptime. Uptime, all you know, is easy to know, the time when the system is up and running. So suppose if your server is up and running, then it will be calculated as uptime, and if the server is stopped or in the upgrade scenario or it's not working, so that will be termed as a downtime. Availability, we have already know the formula of availability, so there is no need to explain. That means availability means the system at the ratio of the time when the system is functioning over the whole time. High availability, we have already defined high availability. Now redundancy is there. Redundancy, I have told you in the last lecture also, redundancy is something like uh, a copy of a component, so that when one component fails, the other component takes its place. Okay. So this is like, suppose we have one server, and this is a copy server. So we can say that this is a redundant copy of the server. So when this server will stop functioning, this will start working, because we want a high availability solution. So we cannot think of a solution where a server gets down and we have to wait for the repair of this server to resume the functioning. So when one server fails, we have to have an option to switch as soon as possible to the other server. So redundancy is have an importance in providing a HS solution. They are saying one more point, that in a system there should be no single point of failure. So single point of failure is like, there is in the networking scenario, suppose we are talking about, this is one router, okay, and this one router is connecting to countries. So this is country one, this is country two. So now, if there is no redundancy at this point, if this router fails, the whole communication between two continent blocks. So there should be no single point of failure. That means this is a single point of failure. That means if this particular point, if there is an error, this particular point, the whole system will stop functioning. So in your solution, there should be no single point of failure. Now, fault tolerance is defined as a system availability of a system to continue in service when there is a failure of component occurs. Okay, so how this fault tolerance is provided, that will be I will telling me that later. But fault tolerance is like the tolerance capability of a system which tolerate the faults. That means in case of any kind of error, whether it is a hardware error or software error, the system should not stop its functioning. It may become a less capacity system, but it should not stop its functioning. So this is known as the fault tolerance. That means how efficiently it can tolerate a fault will be defined as a fault tolerance, and the tool or the idea behind fault tolerance is redundancy. That means fault tolerance is nothing but it is provided by the redundancy. Okay. So I will be giving you detail of fault tolerance. First, we will look RPO, RTO. We already know RPO, RTO. RPO is recovery point objective and RTO is recovery time objective. This is the amount of data that deems acceptable for in case of disaster, and RTO is that amount of time it takes from the disaster declaration to having a critical business process available to the users. So RTO does not include the all component functioning, it only includes the essential business processes to be available. Now private interbit heartbeat connection is something like this. If there are two nodes in a cluster, so if there are two nodes in a cluster that we have already talked about, that this is a primary server and this is a backup server. So what happens, there is a heartbeat signal going on. So server 1 needs to continuously send it a signal that it is alive. After some time, if it fails to send this heartbeat signal, this system assumes that this has failed, so it starts functioning. So heartbeat systems is like a tool which helps in managing the uh, health of the system to check that if the particular component is functioning or not, and if that particular component is not functioning, we have to go to a backup server for the function. So it is kind of monitoring the health of a component. So if that component stops responding, we directly switch to a backup component. Okay, now these are the components affecting high availability. These are the same pie chart that we have seen in the case of disaster, where hardware failures have the most significant role, and then human error, then virus, natural disaster, and software corruption. So these are all the same factors that are same for a disaster. So we can say that high availability will be affected by disaster. So we have to find a solution on the basis of that. Now this picture is important. This is providing you the details of different level of high availabilities. So this is something defined as level 4. This is known as the continuous availability. That means the system is available 24/7. Then level 3 is high availability, but it is a kind of architecture where clustering or failover is provided. इसमें हमारे पास user interruption 0 है, but in this scenario we are having minimal user interruption, no or minimal user interruption. Level 2 will be like where we are having this backup and restore architecture. That means system might stop for some hours to recover. Level 1 is reliability only. That means the system is reliable. That means the result it will be producing will be correct only. Delay might occur, and the delay is kind of unpredictable only. There is one term known as the hot swap. Hot swap means, that means in your system, if this is one storage part, if this is one storage component, and if this component fails, what we can do, we can swap it with other storage. Okay, we can swap it with other storage, and this swap is known as a hot swap. Hot swap means the system is running, and in a running system we can change this storage. This is known as a hot swap. So this level 1 of high availability provides the feature of hot swap only, but it will not be lesser than this. Then level 0 is unprotected. That means there is no protection is there, and in case of failure the whole system will stop functioning. So these are the different levels of high availability: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0 is the unprotected system. So 4 is the continuous availability systems, and 3 is the high availability system. Our target is on this level 3 of high availability. So these are the two general approaches for high availability. One is known as single system fault tolerance, and other is the high availability clustering. We will be going through these two solutions. First, I will be telling you the single system fault tolerance system. In this, what is like, this is our system, and the components are fault tolerant, or the system is fault tolerant. That means it is having redundant copy of the system. So suppose in our scenario we have storage devices, so we have at least two copy of storage devices. We talk about networking devices, we are having two copy of networking devices. So there is redundancy at every point, so we can say that we are having a fault tolerant solution. Now I will be formally define fault tolerance. So fault tolerance is defined, it's like it is defined as k fault tolerant. So what does k fault tolerance means? it can tolerate it can tolerate max k fault. And to provide this k fault tolerance, what we require, we require k plus 1 redundant component. Okay, this is the basic principle of redundancy, where it is saying that if our system is defined as k fault tolerant, that means it can tolerate maximum k faults, and the this k fault tolerance is provided by a k plus 1 redundant component. That means, suppose if we talk about in a scenario where we are having these now we are developing a three fault tolerant system. Okay, we are talking about three fault tolerant systems. So if you talk about three fault tolerant system, that means every component will require at least four copies. Okay, so if we talk about our networking scenario, so suppose if we are having this router, okay, so if you are having this router R1, and this is a router connecting to networks, and we want to design this system as a three fault tolerant, then this system will have three additional copy of the router. Okay, so that in case of this router fails, this router fails, this router fails, the system, actually this system will continue the work. So this is the basic formula and how this fault tolerance and redundancy works. So the fault tolerance is totally relying on the redundancy, and the redundancy is provided and the redundancy helps in providing the fault tolerance. And the basic formula is like, if your system is k fault tolerant, the total number of redundant component will be k plus 1 redundant. This is the basic idea that how we can provide the redundancy. Now next we talk about the high availability clustering. So now this is talking about the single system fault tolerance, which I have already defined the basic idea. So just go through this. Fault tolerance is the typical approach which is followed in the system to minimize the failures and outage. So minimize failures will require a better quality of hardware systems and outage. That means we have redundant solutions. This basically indicates the system's availability to remain online in service even in the case of failure of the component. This is what fault tolerance is. So generally it is achieved over the redundant component. Generally, because there are no other way that if a particular component fail, how can we replace it without any delay? So we have to have an active copy present, so that whenever a fault occurs, we just switch to the other component. Now, these are the examples of redundant component, because I've told you that redundant router should be there. But what about the power supply? Without the power supply, the router will stop working. So there should be a redundant copy of power supply, then CPU and memory, then disk, then IO cards. These should be present in the redundant format. So redundancy will be predefined for your system. Based on that redundancy, we have a copy component or redundant component. Then second feature that is there is the monitoring, alerting, and fault isolation. So there will be like heartbeat system. I have told you that it continuously checks that particular component is working or not. Alerting, that if there is a fault in the system, there's alert should be generated as soon as possible if there is a fault. Then fault isolation is fault isolation means uh, in your system, if there is a fault, that can be tracked and find out as soon as possible. So as soon as the fault is possible, that can be replaced. Then third point for this uh, fault tolerance is hot swap or hot plug. Hot swap means the system is up and functioning and the component can be changed. That means there is no need to shut down the system. The system component is hot swappable. That means system is running and you just take a component and replace the component without any stopping of the services. So this is a hot swap system. So these are the three key points to provide fault tolerance in a single system: redundant components, then monitoring, alerting, fault isolation, and then hot swap. These three creates a combination of this single system fault tolerance system. Now, second HA solutions is the HA clustering. So HA clustering is a scenario that is similar to like where multiple systems are working together to provide the high availability. It is again same thing that if a component fails, since we have multiple systems working together, so the system can be offloaded to the other server. So suppose like if we take about downloading server based on torrents. So what happens? It's like there are multiple components. Okay, there are multiple systems. So in high availability cluster, there are multiple systems. So there is one system, there is other system, and there is other system. So these are working in a cluster organization. So now in this cluster organization, what happens? All these systems are working in a sync. Somewhere they are independent, but they are working in a sync. Now suppose and we need to provide a high availability solution that is dependent on these three systems. So when one system fails, what happens? Suppose this particular system fails, we have two systems to continue our functionalities. So this is how high availability cluster works, that we have a cluster of systems working together so that whenever there is a fault, we can switch to other systems. So now go through the this particular sentence. High availability is closely related associated with fault tolerance. A fully fault tolerant system has no service interruptions but very high cost, whereas a high availability provides minimal service interruption and multiple system or nodes but have a minimal cost. So this is one important point it is saying about that if we want a fully fault tolerant systems, then we have need to have several copies of the same system. Okay, so this will increase the cost of the system. So we have to switch to a more cheaper solution because we need to have multiple copies of power supply as well as multiple copies of devices. So it will become costly for the full fault tolerance systems. So instead of full to fault tolerance systems, we are using this. High availability can be introduced at any layer based on the criticality. The common used approach is the operating system layer above two nodes scenario in which the case one and node two. So this is a kind of node scenario where we are providing an operating system based high availability clusters where multiple systems are working on sync, but and this sync is defined based on the this sync is defined by operating system drivers. That means this clustering is operating system aware. So it is knowing that which particular application is running on that, and both application are sharing the data. So suppose it's in a simple way, we are working on a time server or not time server. We are working on a web server. Okay, suppose. Uh, okay, so suppose we are taking the example of a Spotify. So what happens? Spotify use this Docker container. So what it does, it virtually creates the instances based on the Docker. So this is your system. Two clusters are running. So suppose this particular machine is having 4 users, and this particular machine is having 2 users. So it is something Spotify is something running like there is one app, and this particular app is defined per user. That means application instance is defined as per the per user. So whenever a user opens an application, a Docker container is created for the same Spotify application, and it is running on some operating system above an operating system and a server. So in this example, scenarios like that, there are 4 users load on this particular system, and there are 2 users load on this particular system. The capability is beyond that. That means it can have suppose 1,000 user at a time, and this can also support 1,000 user at a time. So this cluster system is something like that. These operating systems are aware that we have to sync the data among the applications and other things. So suppose this particular application fails, if the particular node fails, or this particular application, there might be some hardware failure. So what happens? These both operating systems can communicate with each other, and they can directly migrate this particular containers to other server load. So this is how this cluster works, that if a particular node fails, we have other clusters to offload the current load so that it can be directly moved to other servers. I have given you example where both the clusters are active, and we are having this example also where we are having this where we are having this. That means we are having one active server as well as the other standby server. So we can use both architecture where both the servers are active, and we can have a scenario where one is active and one other is a standby server. Now, the high availability clusters main components are these. First thing is the cluster aware application. So when you are running a cluster, applications running on each node must know that this particular application is a cluster application. That means the data is shared among multiple nodes. So the application should be cluster aware. Then servers and nodes is the second component. Then the storage should be shared because we need to share the application data. Then heartbeat connection. I have told you the heartbeat connections. Then it should have a redundant network connectivity. So if you look at this diagram, it is showing basically the HA cluster only. So this point is the shared storage, and this is a storage area network, SAN based, and these switches are the SAN switches. SAN switches are specialized switches similar to the LAN switches, but its protocol is supporting for the storage. So this supports the storage protocol, and these are the nodes. So these nodes are forming the cluster. So this is showing a 2 node cluster. So where one node is this one and other node is this one, there is continuously heartbeat signal going on. These are the user network where the applications are running. So at this point your applications are running, and these are the Ethernet switches to provide the redundant internet connectivity. This is one simple example of high availability clusters. The cluster may contain, or in general scenario, contains more than 2 nodes to provide a better clustering. So this is a high availability cluster example. Now these are the types of high availability clusters. So I have told you about this active solutions. Active solutions is something like that. We are having 2 nodes. Suppose we are only taking this 2 nodes example. So this is node 1 and this is node 2. Okay, this is node 1, this is node 2. At a time, both the nodes are functioning. That means both the nodes are sharing the loads. In case of failure, the whole load will be shifted on a single node. That means the system should be designed in such a way that the sum of loads at node 1 and node 2 should not go beyond the maximum capability of a single node. That means the maximum load should be m by 2, where m is the maximum capacity of a single node. So at a time, if one node fails, the whole load can be shifted onto the other cluster. Then second approach was active passive. In active passive, what happens? Out of two servers, one is active and other is a standby. So this particular this particular node is running, and this particular node is on a standby. If this node fails, the whole load shifted to this standby. Then a third example is a good one example where that is known as the n plus 1 uh, solution. In this solution, a single extra node is brought online to take over the role of the node that has failed. In case of heterogeneous software, the extra node must be universally capable by assuming the roles of the primary node. So this is normally used a cluster where multiple services are running simultaneously. So what happens in this particular scenario? Suppose if this particular node fails, we just bring a new node in the role. Okay, so this n plus 1 is running for the multiple system clusters where multiple applications are running simultaneously. This above two can be suitable for two node architecture also. Then n to 1 architecture is this is like failover standby node becomes active one temporarily until the primary one is restored. In active and passive solutions, and in n to 1 solution, there is one difference. The difference is like this n to 1, uh, the standby server cannot take the full role of the primary server. The standby server can take the role of the primary server temporarily only. When this primary server becomes failed, the standby server starts playing the role of primary server, but it should be repaired as soon as possible so that we can switch back to this primary server again. So in this, as compared to active passive solutions, this standby server has limited capabilities. Now these are the advantages of HA clustering, that we can have assure a planned outage, then the downtime will be reduced, load balancing will be there if you follow the active architecture, and the performance will improve by this HA clustering. Now selection criteria is depends upon first budget. Budget is very important, and second point is the outage. That means how your service get affected by the disaster or other factors. So it will surely affect your HA clustering solutions as well as your revenue. Then requirements of your system, RPO, RTO, then replication sites, that means the site where you are keeping your backup data. Based on its distance, the solution is selected, and number of nodes in the system. So these are the factors by which we are deciding to pick HA clustering solutions. Now we are taking some examples that how network layer high availability can be provided, or high. So this is again talking about the redundancy scenario only. So just to go through this, network layer includes the networking area of the system that includes TCP/IP network, fiber cable network, or any other modes of connectivity. So if we look at this diagram, so this diagram is showing. Okay, this diagram is showing redundant components in the network. So you can see that there is two routers, two firewalls, two network switches, and multiple copies of servers. So redundancy, I have told you already that redundancy is an important factor in creating H solutions. So the more the redundancy, the cost will increase as well as the solutions availability will become more. Now coming to next slide. We now this particular is talking about the storage. In this particular storage HA solutions, the thing that will be coming into the picture will be the RAID architecture. So RAID architecture is redundant array of independent disk. Independent disk. So we have to study this RAID levels in the next lecture.